I'm Frank McGrorty. This is Planet of Costs. In 2014, Scotland voted no against independence, and the following day, the then First Minister Alex Salmond said on his final statement as he left the press conference, "The dream shall never die." Today, thousands, and I mean thousands, took to the streets in Glasgow to make sure that dream remained alive. If you don't believe me, have a look for yourself. What does it mean for you to be here today?
For me, it's enormously reassuring, because for me, the fact that the people of Scotland are standing up more and more to get off their knees and claim what's theirs and take themselves forward to stand in the world and be recognised in the world is hugely empowering for me on a personal basis. And on a family basis, it's this identity of Scotland that my family's bought into, because I'm married to an EU citizen. And unfortunately, through ill health, she's not available to be here today. But certainly she would be inspired by this too.
We remember what it was like in the lead up to the referendum. 4 years on, how much do you think it's progressed in terms of the attitude and how things are progressing towards possibly another vote?
I think people have become much more politicised in a good way. I think they understood what was happening in the referendum, but I think they were able to now digest the referendum. They were able to digest things like media bias. We now know that Cambridge Analytica and its pals were involved in buying 4 million Facebook profiles in 2014. I wonder, was there something big happening in 2014? I'll have to cast my mind back to that. And there's also various other things that happened that, as we look back, we can see how effectively the forces, or rather the offices of the British state, were used against us. The Treasury, obviously, with its releases in terms of you can't use the pound, and the movement of things like head offices of banks, the Foreign Office contacting foreign governments to get them to put effectively a bad spin on the idea of independence without us knowing about it. And the idea that the Home Office, the last great office of state, wasn't involved in this just beggared belief for me. But now we know, of course, courtesy of Cambridge Analytica, well, clearly they were involved. So people understand now this is a really serious fight, and it's only a really serious fight because Scotland is worth a great deal, especially to its own people, but to the people who want to exploit it, it's also worth a lot. So it's a serious fight. People understand that now.
Now, in terms of getting the message, I think a clear message was sent out today. I mean, we're talking about over 90,000 attending here. What kind of message do you think that's going to send to people down south?
Well, I think the problem will be, first of all, down south, the ordinary people down south, many of whom would support us, I think, because I think they are in despair, some of them, understandably, at their own political situation. Probably won't see this because it won't be on the television, or certainly not on the BBC. I think if we want to put this in context of Glasgow, we're standing here in Glasgow Green near the monument, and the last public execution was in 1885, and it had a crowd of just over 80,000. This is a bigger crowd, and this is a bigger crowd not for a death but for life. It's for the life of Scotland as a country and as simply a community. So I think that people who have any sort of sympathy with the fellow man down south or anywhere else in Europe will see this as a great beacon of hope.
Can I ask you, what does it mean for you to be here today?
Well, it's the first ever march I've attended, and I only ever really joined the movement in 2016, so it's worth the trip for Dundee, getting up at stupid o'clock to come here, but to be around so many like-minded people, to have all the speakers, the music, just the atmosphere, it's brilliant.
So, I mean, like somebody like yourself, you would come under the category of as the new generation.
Aye.
Right, so as the new generation, how do you see things progressing? I mean, they're trying to paint a bleak picture when in 2014, but the thing is, there seems to be a bit more optimism this time.
I reckon there's more of a case now,
Aye.
I have to say, especially with Brexit, especially when they're trying to nick the powers off our Parliament. I mean, as a member of the new generation, I would say that optimism is high for an independent Scotland, definitely.
So how was the actual march today? How did you find that?
Well, it was long. There was so many people. I've heard numbers ranging from 33,000 to 91,000.
That's what we heard, 91,000.
But of course, there's no appetite for independence, isn't there? No.
But it's all about getting a message to people down south. I mean,
Exactly.
Would you say this is you can get a bigger message than this?
Well, they don't report it on the BBC, do they? But I would say that this is where it is. Short of, protesting outside of Westminster, but
I mean, in terms of for the future, I mean, how optimistic are you think that they'll actually give us a chance for another vote?
I think that no matter what, the case needs to be, and the case is there. But you know what? If they don't give us the vote, then I can wait.
You've got time.
I've got time. People have time,
But you remain confident it's going to happen in your lifetime?
Oh aye, definitely. I'm Lloyd Melville, I'm 17 and I'm from Montefieth.
And are you a member of any party?
Have a guess.
No, I mean,
Could be the Greens? No, it's the SNP.
You're SNP, right? Okay, that's great. As for I remember what this used to be like, what this was like in 2014, leading up to the actual vote itself. 4 years on, what does it mean to you standing here today?
Oh, I think what we've seen today is a clear message from independent supporters that they're not going away, that they're determined when the time is right to vote for independence. And I think that what this demonstrates is a show of strength for people to come together to show that they're still supporting independence. And I think a message to our unionist opponents who think that the independence question is in the back burner, that very much it's still the centre of Scottish political debate in this country.
Estimates are suggesting over 90,000 turned up today. When we were talking about this march to begin with, they were talking about 40,000. I don't think even the organisers would have expected something.
Well, I certainly didn't. I certainly didn't expect a march for this to have 90,000 today. I don't think anybody expected that. But I think that just goes to show you the strength of feeling and the strength of the movement, and it is a movement.
And in terms of sending out a message, you can't get a clearer message than 90,000 turning up for a rally like this. But obviously, there are certain barriers because, for starters, when you do the vote, Westminster's got to let you have the vote. So what needs to be done in order for them to say...
Well, I think we need to keep campaigning. We need to talk to our fellow Scots in the first place. We need to show that the will is there. And if one yes supporter speaks to one no voter and converts them, then we're going to win the referendum. So in terms of getting a referendum, we just need to keep applying the pressure, keep talking to people, because I think the pressure will come. And I think that as we see the Brexit disaster unfolding, I think there will be a surge of support once it emerges, just exactly what the UK state is going to look like after Brexit.
So you would see when you're talking about getting past Westminster, you're not just going to get past Westminster, you've got the other sources to deal with as well. You're talking about likes of the media and all the way the other people's perception of what's going on here. I mean, I remember...
Well, I think the media in Scotland is in crisis, and it doesn't give me any pleasure saying that. I think that what we're seeing is a whole layer of sub-editors being removed from newspapers, clear mistakes being made, quality going down, and I think that other people are now using other media like social media in order to get their message across, because the newspaper industry in Scotland is on its knees.
Do you think that because when you mentioned about social media, do you think now that because people are using social media to such major effect, it's actually painting a different picture than what the conventional ones are doing?
I think social media's role is sometimes to challenge what is stated in mainstream media as facts. And we had that during the referendum, didn't we? I still remember that interview with Jim Sillars where Maxine Mulwiney was saying it was a fact that Scotland was independent and would be out of the EU the next day. That wasn't a fact, that was fiction. So we need to continue to challenge their fictions, and that's what we'll continue to do, and that's what 35 of us are doing at Westminster on a daily basis.
I think it would be fair to say that there was a clear message sent out today in Glasgow Green. Over 91,000 were in attendance on what was a very, very sunny day. The movement has come a long way since they narrowly lost the vote in 2014. And based on today's evidence, regardless what other people think, the independence story is far from over.